I'm a sorry video for my parents, because I'm 30 years old. I put my parents through hell. And, well, not that bad, but this is 10 things that I wrote down that I want to apologize for in this video for the past 30 years of crap I've done. And, here's 10 things. So, I could remember that I actually wrote down. So, here it is. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. And here's the things I'm sorry for. Now, hopefully this makes you laugh. And I'm sorry for one. My brother was out front with me, and I was talking to a friend. And, basically, my brother had a football, a Nerf one. I'm surprised that, like, as soft as this thing is, it did what it did. And what it was, my brother threw it, hit me in my back, like normal brothers would do. They picking on each other. And I bent over, just grabbed it. I spun around, didn't even look, just threw it. And it went over his head. He ducked, and it broke the window behind him. And that was the first time and last time I've ever broke a window. So, and my dad was like, "What the fuck was that?" I told my friend, "You better get out of here because I'm going to get yelled at, and I don't want you to get yelled at or in trouble or anything." He had nothing to do with it, but I told him to get out, and he left. And then that was one thing. And then number two, basically, I didn't do it, but my friends did. We were all in the backwoods drinking. I was the only one sober. Everybody else was pretty much drunk. And basically it was right up the road from where I lived. And somehow somebody called the cops. I had a bad feeling from the start when we got there not to drink. I don't know why. It's just something told me not to drink. I really just stuck to my guns. I told everybody, like, I really don't want to drink. I just don't have a really good feeling about this. And everybody's like, okay. And everybody kept drinking. And basically the cops came, brought us out to the road. My parents saw the cops at the end of the road, and they knew I was down there, but they didn't know what was going on. And so they walked down there, and my parents were the only parents there. And I was embarrassed because it was like, my parents were there. And any teenager growing up knows it's embarrassing to be around your parents during times like that. And my dad was like, "Alright, what did you do?" And when the cop basically told him, "Alright, took the breathalyzer and I was clean, because I wanted to go first. I just want to get it over with." And I told the cops I'm sober, I didn't drink. They asked me if I wanted to drink, and I was like, no, I didn't want to. And the cops were like, "Wow, I'm very proud." They were like, "I would be proud if you were my son and you didn't drink. That I wouldn't even punish you." But my dad grounded me for like 2 months, and that was a learning experience. And yeah, all I know is that I didn't drink. I didn't want to drink. Luckily, I didn't drink. I would have been grounded a lot more longer. But yeah, and that was that time. And then number three, the time I told the dog to look out the window of a second floor building to see you guys, and then she actually jumped out of the window to get to you guys because she didn't realize how high she was off the ground. She landed on her belly, and she was okay. She ran and got up, running around and stuff, but just scared the piss out of my mom and dad. My mom mainly. It was her dog, so I'm sorry for that. Number four, all the speeding tickets I got for, like, I lost my license 3 times. I got a bunch of speeding tickets in the past. This was like over 10 years ago. I haven't had another ticket since I was 19 or 20. And then also all the tickets I got for having a loud stereo system in my car. And yeah, I've had tickets for that like 5-6 times, and they were like $50 a pop. For me, I didn't have any really responsibility, so $50 like was nothing. I just went to court, paid it, whatever. And then yeah, all the stress I put my parents through for that because they were with me every time I went to court. And I'm sorry for that. And number 5, let's see, what does this say? For oh yeah, for a few times I lied to you guys where I was because I was out getting booty. And yeah, my parents know about this, and I've done that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people did that, but I got caught because where I said I was, or who I was with, my friends, my parents would go out that night and see my friends in town. They'd be like, "Where's JB?" And be like, "We haven't seen him all day." I was actually, yeah, and that's how that went, and I got caught. So I'm sorry about that. And then let's see. Oh yeah, This is funny. Number 5 is I'm sorry for the time we were all in church. There was people there. There was hard wooden benches, the long ones. Anybody that's been to church and knows what it's like. It's really hard to sit on. But I farted, and anybody knows that if you fart on something really hard and long like that, this bench, that, yeah, it vibrates and echoes. And it echoed in the whole church, and my dad just looked to the ground, said, "Get out." And I had us outside in front of church until church was over, and then we left, and I embarrassed my family. And I couldn't hold it, I didn't know, and I didn't know it was going to be like that. I didn't know that it was going to echo that loud. That was like the last fart I ever did. Everybody was laughing, and I was laughing, but I was embarrassed, and my parents were embarrassed. Yeah, and yeah, that's how that went. Alright, where am I at now? Number 7. For a time, for a time I acted like my mom was beating my ass in stores, and this is how this went. Me and my mom were going down aisles, and when it was just me and her, and there was people in the other aisles, I used to slap my wrist really loud and be like, "Mom, stop beating me! I didn't do that! Stop hitting me!" And yeah, people would come peeking around corners and be like, "What's wrong?" And I would be laughing, thinking it's funny, and my mom stopped taking me grocery shopping for like a year or two. And yeah, that's how that went. And then that wasn't very good, and my mom could have gotten in trouble, but luckily nothing went wrong. So I'm just sorry for that. Let me see, where am I at? Number 8. All the times, everybody's done this as teenagers. All the times I stayed out late with my friends, or just stayed out late in general and never called, and then you were worried about me and you stayed up and yelled at me and grounded me. All the times I did that. So I'm very sorry for that. The time, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have done this, it flooded the kitchen with the dishwasher. You know, you stick dishwashing fluid instead of detergent in the dishwasher, and it foams and floods the whole kitchen. I'm surprised that kitchen wasn't rotted from all the water, because I turned it on, walked away, and came back when it was done like an hour or something later, and the whole floor was flooded, and it had foam everywhere. And yeah, that was a hell of a time. And then number 10, the final thing. The time I pissed off my brother so bad that he punched a hole in the wall, and then me and him both had to go out and basically fixed his wall. It fixed my parents' house, the wall. And yeah, that was not fun. There's been quite a few times where I picked on my brothers and pissed them off and they fucked something up. Like the one time I caused a car accident sitting in the passenger side. I was with Justin, my brother. He was in his car and I was riding in the passenger side. And I kept pushing buttons. I kept hitting the hazard lights button. Then I turned on the heat in the car. Then I heard turn on stereo. Then I'd be messing around. And he would be so distracted with me, he didn't realize what gear he put it in. He was yelling at me, and he drove into my car and ran to the front of it, and it broke his license plate off his car. And my car was fine, but it just broke his, and I had to buy him a new license plate holder for the front of his car. And luckily there was no damage, but I freaking caused the accident sitting on the passenger side of a car. And yeah, that was my fault. I'm sorry about that, but that was a long time ago. I'm sure Justin Paul and everybody that's watching this is going to have a good laugh. I'm 30. I have 2 kids of my own. And I'm learning a lot about girls I did not know. And yeah, teenage years are going to be really, really fun. Hearing it from Cassie and her mom, what having girls are like. Because I had 2 younger brothers, I have no clue about girls. I'm learning right now as I go. And I can't wait for the teenage years where I will probably just blow my head off or something. I don't know. I don't know if I can handle. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad.